Well, hi there, this is D4T, and this is a little different than what I usually do. This is a Q&A video to answer some of the questions that people have about D4T version 2.0. So, okay, let's just go for it. Now, the first question is how many option by Jckfrbn. I have no idea how to say that. And this also ties to another question on Twitter, that randomkid97. Is the mod gonna have more options for enemies and power-ups, like the option to add original enemies and have an upgrade system in place? The answer is only a few options were added, and these are only for deathmatch. There are no options for single player. There will be no stuff that you can turn on and off and change if you want extra weapons or not. You know, basically all that stuff that I added on D4D, that's not gonna be happening in D4T. This is on purpose. This was the whole idea since the very beginning of the mod, that there are not gonna be options. Just to give a very short explanation why. Yeah, of course, an airplane, why not? The reason why is because I just don't enjoy having all that modularity on the mod. Basically, I created this mod with a very specific idea of how to play it, and I understand some people don't like how this mod plays, and that's why people don't play it. But to invest a lot of time into adding options just to attract 2 or 3 or 100 or 1,000 more people to play it, honestly, that's not the idea. That's what D4D was for. D4D is over there so people can play that. But in regards to D4T, there's no option. No, you cannot turn on and off stuff. The only options that I ever added are options of the engine, and I just put them in a more convenient place for everyone to access it easier. Other than that, there's no really options. And like I said, the only options that were added are for deathmatch, like tweaking some stuff like the bots behavior, and if they start with extra weapons and whatnot. And by extra weapons I mean starting with shotguns and whatever. It has nothing to do with the concept of extra weapons or multiplayer weapons in D4D. Alright, next question. Will D4T drops fall from non-D4T entities? Again by Jckfrbn. I have no idea how to say it. No. Unfortunately, it's not really technically possible for non-D4T entities to drop stuff. This is basically a limitation. So, no, that's just not really gonna be happening. Next one is, would you use Tracer instead of hitscans by DoomKrakken? We already have a system, and this was actually discussed before I had to delete all those messages that were added in that section of Discord. We already have this system where you have a hitscan attack that is the one that deals damage, and an aesthetical or a visual effect of a tracer. It's done this way. And the question is, why don't you just do it with hitscans instead of just being like a visual effect? The reason for that is because, of course, the tracer, I meant tracer. The problem with using tracer as the main source of damage is that they have certain limitations. For example, Doom 2 in parts or in general in mapsets and all, you can hide from projectiles by standing behind, say, a decoration like a tree or something like that. But hitscan will still hit you. However, by using projectiles, they would be blocked, and this is going to start messing up with the balance. Now, there's something else that is a major reason for me to do this. Hitscan are not affected by lag in network games. A hitscan, it happens immediately. However, when you have lag, a projectile takes some time, according to your ping, takes some time for it to spawn, and with high pings this becomes a huge pain in the ass, meaning that all the weapons with huge ping will be completely unusable. So whether this is for co-op or for deathmatch, it's just gonna be a pain in the ass. So no, that's not really gonna be happening. I know that it's something that people can do, but really it's gonna bring more problems than it's gonna actually solve anything. Next question: did the difficulty increase from version 1.01 by BerserkerNoir? Noir? I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, it changed. The most direct way was by that by the fact that we changed, we made harder the Deathbound difficulty. The maximum difficulty, there are some people who really enjoy crazy challenges, and even Deathbound wasn't crazy enough for them. So we bumped it a little bit, and so yeah, in that sense it was increased. However, in all the other skills, well, we didn't change the damage that they dealt as the whole skill. There was a lot of balance things that were changed in this version. This, for example, includes the amount of ammo that you get from using your chainsaw, or the amount of ammunition that you get from pickups laying on the world, or the amount of damage that some weapons deal, because some were a little overpowered. So in that sense, the balance changed. Did that make it harder? I would say by a tiny bit, but not in a bad way. It's not more frustrating. You just have to be more careful on how you play. Not in the sense that you have to be tiptoeing around, you know, and being super careful and playing very slow. No, not like that. It just added this layer that was lost in the previous version, where you had unlimited ammunition. Basically, you were full ammunition at all times. Now it's not the case, and this at the same time, it's an advantage because it makes you want to use different weapons that use different ammunition. So you start to find what, or hopefully, you start to find what each weapon is meant for, where it's more advantageous to use a particular weapon regarding its ammo consumption, its effectiveness, and all that stuff. So short answer is only Deathbound was directly bumped on difficulty. All the other skills were modified in a way because of the balance. Next question. New Completionist bonus. I know HR2, Hill Reveal 2, like the back of my hand. I want to keep getting good stuff for each of the 32 maps present. Anonymous. Well, yeah, there was a big change on Completionist. The Completionist bonus now are randomized, not 100% randomized. So, because you see, some Completionist bonus are really good, but you know, in later levels, you don't want to get a Completionist where you get a BFG in map 1. So the way we did it is that Completionists are randomized in certain ranges. So in a range from certain maps, you can get any of these Completionists, which are going to be, you know, the early Completionists, and it goes like that. That being said, yeah, Completionists were improved, new Completionist bonuses that didn't exist before, and some crazy ones for if you're playing ridiculously long mapsets. I'm talking of mapsets of 40, 50 maps. If you're doing that, well, there's still gonna be stuff for you over there. But for regular 32 maps, mapsets, yeah, you're gonna be seeing quite a lot of familiar bonuses. But when will you see it? That's what it's gonna be changed. Alright, next question by BerserkerNoir. Wouldn't it be hard to fight more than one Cyberdemon at once because of the new attacks like the stalagmites? Yeah, that. Yeah, it actually would be a little difficult to fight more than one. However, there's something else to consider. I'm gonna be spoiling a little bit here, but oh well. This is stuff that has been seen on the trailer. The stalagmites, or the stone walls, as I like to call it, attack of the Cyberdemon, he only uses it when you're really close to him, because of course it's not gonna make sense to trap you in a ridiculously long hallway. So it's when you're close. Now, if you have 5 Cyberdemons at close range, of course that's gonna be a gigantic pain in the ass, but in that case, that's the type of map that D4T is not exactly made for. Again, this entire mod was made with a more corridor type of maps in mind. While you can play other stuff, that's the primary idea. And even then, if you're in a place where there's 5 Cyberdemons close to you, it's probably going to be an open area, so you're going to be able to just double jump out of the thing and run around and get enough distance between you and the Cyberdemon so that this type of attacks don't become an issue. However, keep an eye for the airstrike, because those things are becoming kind of a big deal here regarding on the damage and the fact that they can attack you from really far with that thing. So yeah, it was on purpose to make the Cyberdemon more of a threat, because honestly, just firing your BFG and killing it right away, it doesn't really work for me. So I wanted something with attacks that look more familiar to Doom 2016, but that were still fair in the context of Doom 2 and mapsets. Will we see unwilling possessed zombies and prettier effects by I have no idea how to say that. Brina? As seen in the trailer, you can actually see Unwilling running around in one of the scenes. Well, not exactly running, they're freaking slow as you would expect them to be. Possessed zombies, well, we have our own version of them, in the sense that they're the zombie man, the shotgun guy, and also seen on the trailer, there's a shield shotgun guy, as I call it, the shield guy. They're there. They were made to try to look, not to look, but to behave more like the Doom 2016 part. But still, a lot of things had to be taken into account of how you cannot replicate some of the things that they do in that game, and some other things they would just be unfair in Doom 2. So yeah, they're there, but with our own liberties. Next question, compatibility with Damnums, how? There's Zscript, anonymous. It's our own version of damage number system. This is of course, as always, compatible with GC Doom 1.8.6 and Cyberdemon. We did not add them for single player because it was going to be really taxing on the engine, and as I've always mentioned, since this mod is primarily made for primarily one of the main two things that it was made for is for D-Touch, D-Touch being the Android port of GC Doom. Now the thing about that is that a lot of phones are not extremely powerful, so if you start adding a lot of stuff on top of all the stuff that you already have, it's taxing, and damage number does require to be tracking a lot of stuff at the same time at all times. So for single player was a no, definitely that was not gonna happen. However, deathmatch, since that's more focused on being played on Cyberdemon in a computer, that's where we added. Basically any type of multiplayer is much heavier in D4T than single player. So yeah, we added that stuff for multiplayer, for deathmatch, and yeah, it's interesting because people did the Damnums with Zscript and all. Basically over here Michael did it with just with the tools that we had, and honestly I'm really happy with how that ended, and also I think it's a big thing that is going to change a little bit how people see deathmatch, because I know I'm going a little off topic here, but I might as well mention it. A lot of people were complaining about the super shotgun being too weak on deathmatch, and I always, in D4T, and I always argued that it's not that this one was weak, it's that the default Doom 2 super shotgun is ridiculously OP. So in here it's a different balance, but people didn't really know how much damage the super shotgun was dealing, so they felt like people are just taking 3 super shotgun in the face and they're not dying. Well, yeah, because you're aiming it wrong, only 2 pellets are hitting. Well, no wonder why. So with the damage numbers and deathmatch, I think that's gonna be, it's gonna give people a very different look on how this thing works in regards to balancing deathmatch. Next question. Did the demon balance change? I found myself avoiding runes in version 1.01. That one, the other one. Because maybe I'm lucky and it's an Arachnotron or Baron, but what if it's a silly Cacodemon again? Well, I can tell you one thing for sure. Cacodemons are not to be laughed at anymore in deathmatch. Cacodemons have a new alt fire attack that basically when you're in a close enough space or a distance, you can basically eat people. It's not a melee attack, you can just pull people towards you and eat them. It's really freaking dangerous. If you're a Cacodemon in deathmatch, you're gonna be wrecking so long as people are close. So people will learn to stay away from Cacodemons because really they are a pain in the ass. But in general, all of the demons were rebalanced. I noticed, even myself, I noticed myself doing this. I was avoiding a lot of the using the Kako demon or many demons in general in deathmatch, because they just didn't feel like they were effective enough. Like I'm just a big target and a lot of people can just kill me, and I don't have enough to defend myself, and some demons were too tanky. So what we did in this version, apart from including 2 new playable demons, was to rebalance all of them in regards to health, damage, speed of the projectiles, to make them really dangerous. So you pick one, you will want to pick them, because you're going to be extremely powerful, extremely damage dealing. You can get a lot of frags with that, but at the same time you're no longer a tank, so you can die kind of with, let's not say that it's easy, it's just that it's not as difficult to kill demons now as it was before. Still, it's really fair. We have been testing this quite a bit, and I think we finally found the balance that we needed on regards to the demon. So yeah, check them out. Also, what the fuck with the Cyberdemon in deathmatch? That's like 999% unfair, anonymous. Well, there is what we call now the power demons, you know, like the analogy to the power weapons. Power demons, of course, are going to be the Cyberdemon and the Spider Mastermind. These are demons, gigantic demons with a ton of health that are difficult to kill. However, there's something else to them. By being so gigantic, they're limited to where they can spawn and where they can move. They're not made to be chasing players. They are made to just be a centerpiece and kill everybody rather kind of easily, so long as people are fool enough to get close to you. But at the same time, by you being a gigantic demon, you're a gigantic target, so it's really easy to just shoot them down at distance. They have a lot of health, but again, they don't fit through corridors and places, so you can just snipe away. And also, there's something else to consider. These things only spawn when there's 8 players or more at the same time. If there's less than those players, these things are not going to spawn, because it's going to be stupid to try to fight a gigantic Cyberdemon when there's a 1v1. So much like we did with not spawning regular runes unless there's 3 or more players, these gigantic runes are not going to be spawning unless there's 8 or more. Okay, another question. How about using Caesar's more advanced weapon animations by DoomKrakken? The question by DoomKrakken. No, we're not going to be using that. The reason for that is because each one of the Doom 4 theme or Doom 2016 themed mods have their own thing to them. I have always tried to respect this, in the sense that when we were working in D4T, you see there was the Scion mod, which is the one that I'm not sure shells up. I have no idea how to say the name. The one that the Chameleon Maligno was doing too, I think. That it's rips. Those have some beautiful animation, but it's a very specific style of thing that they're doing the rips with ridiculously smooth animations. And then there was Caesar's Argent mod that had different animations, and then there was D4D, which had the new sprite. So basically, what I tried to do back then was to let every one of these mods have their own single thing without trying to copy stuff. Because even back then, people were asking, why don't you use Caesar's new animations? And honestly, those are great. The animations that he made, he basically handmade, or yeah, you know. Those are great. I would love to use them, but I would feel like I would be taking something that is very Argent focused, you know, that it's very unique to Argent, and by copying it into our mod, I would just feel like I'm trying to absorb everything into this mod. That's not the idea. My idea was always that each mod have their own particular niche, you know, and it's the same with D4T. D4T, even though it uses basically the same resources that I gather for D4D, it plays in a very different style. It has a very unique type of gameplay, where D4D is focused on you buying upgrades and trying to get as many credits as you can and being careful on what you do and blah blah blah. D4T is not like that. It has a very unique personality in regards of how you don't have to stop. You just run around and pick up the stuff that you get on the way. So that's why I'm not gonna be using Caesar's animations, just because I want every single mod to have their own thing. And besides, there's something else. Caesar is using still the old sprites, for the mod, and D4T at the moment is using the new sprites. So no, it's just not gonna match the styles, you know. So yeah, I'm still curious to see how long it will take for other mods to start getting the Praetor hands from D4T and using it in theirs. I would prefer if they didn't, but you know, it's just gonna happen, so oh well. Next question. What are you hoping to ultimately achieve with D4T by Uncle Kitchener? Well, I think I mentioned this already in this same video. The ultimate goal was basically to have a mod, a Doom 2016 theme mod that played on a phone. That was basically the whole idea. Because when I was working on D4D, I was like, oh, it would be so cool if I could play this on my phone. And that's when the idea started to come up, like, what if I made a simpler version, something that doesn't require a beast machine to run, something that you don't have to bind 300 keys just to pull up a menu and to select the next grenade and all that stuff. I wanted something simpler, something more streamlined, and that's what we did. And I think in that sense we already achieved what I wanted with the mod. However, on regards to what I wanted to be in, like, you know, ultimately, it's a really fun experience. It is already really fun, but there's always things that I want to tweak, because the more I play, the more I see this could be improved here, this could be improved there. I don't want this to be the perfect Doom 2016 replica. I don't want that, because if I make the monster behave exactly like they do in Doom 4, which would require a ridiculous amount of coding, and I'm not sure if it's even possible. I can get it close to that, but still, it would just not match the style of maps of Doom 2 and all the mapsets that there are. So no, I don't want it to be a perfect replica of Doom 2016. I just want it to be a ridiculously fun mod that you can just pick up and start playing without having to worry too much about setting up stuff and whatnot. That's again the reason why there's no options to be setting up. I want this, I don't want that, I want this, I don't want that. Again, the very final version of D4T, I don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't know when is that gonna happen, but we'll see. In the meantime, I can tell you this much: I just want a really fun mod to play. Do you also collaborate with the D4D team, Uncle Kitchener? Well, actually, well, I mentioned this already, but I was the one who started D4D. I was the one who came up with the super original concept. Yeah, sure. But yeah, I was the one who started doing the mod, and then eventually I asked the team I work with in Eons of Death if they wanted to join this project that I was doing, where I was porting the weapons from Doom 2016 into Doom 2. They agreed, and so it started. So will I? Oh, and also I eventually left the project because, as I mentioned again, I just wanted something different, to do something different than that mod. I just didn't like where that mod was going. Will I collaborate with D4D in the future? No, not really. And that's the reason why I left, because honestly, I just don't feel like working there anymore. I just want to do my own thing the way I want to do it, and that's that. Okay, let me find another question over here. What about D4H, Dicks for Harambe mod by I'm a fucking corn? Yeah, well, actually, the D4H team has been working for us all along. Basically, you can see that in our Discord avatar. So yeah, the Dicks for Harambe mod, it's really central to us. Of course, I'm just joking. For everybody that doesn't know where this joke is coming from, it's because of the logo for D4T, the original logo. It had a lot of emphasis in the D and 4 and the H in death. The word death. So it looked, some people were saying that it looked like it was D4H instead of D4T. So that, and D4H, they came up with it being Dicks for Harambe. So that's where the joke comes from. Alright. Question by Doom Guy 5th. Compatibility with GC Doom 64? Not really. not from us, at least. You know, it's more like the way I've always seen gameplay mods. The gameplay mods are made for vanilla or limit removing map sets, not so much for other map sets that require further features of engines. The reason for that is because sometimes the scriptings of the maps and whatnot might not work with all the crazy stuff that we replaced in the gameplay mod. So specifically for GC Doom 64, not directly from us. We're not gonna be working on making it compatible with that. If it happens to be compatible, that's gonna be great. But if not, honestly, we're not gonna be spending extra time in doing it. However, if anybody wants to do it, go for it, and we're gonna credit you for doing so and post it on the mod database. But in regards to us doing a specific compatibility for this or that other mod, no, not really. It's not gonna be happening. Question by Jckfrbn: will there be major projects after D4T 2.0, or will you take a break? I will take a break. That's for sure. I usually, when I work in a project with full commitment, like in this one, I get a little tired. So it's like I do need to take a break. For how long? Honestly, I don't know. It could be, I don't know. Usually I say that I want to spend a couple months to just play the thing that we created, playing all the time. But honestly, like, the itch comes again right after a little bit. I just need to rest for a couple of weeks and probably I'm going to start working on it again. Now, other projects that are not D4T, it's a possibility. I want to rework a little bit my Doomstorm mod that I did some time ago and that I re-released recently. Because now I know how to do some things better than I did back then. So there is that. There's also my Quake 4 Lightning Fast Mod Doom Edition, version 2.0 of that mod, which is going to be, without spoiling what's coming, I know not a lot of people are interested in that project, but still, I like surprises. I have reworked that thing. It's no longer compatible with old GC Doom. It's going to require newer versions of GC Doom. It's not going to be compatible with the D-Touch, but I'm adding quite a few things on that mod in regards to the weapon behavior. So there is that. I honestly would like to do a super quick and dirty mod that brings the Quake Champion weapons into Doom, not for deathmatch, only for single player, so that I can kill demons with these new weapons. Just because they look interesting. I don't love the design of them, but you know, I still like to bring some of the games that I enjoy into Doom too. Will 2.0 be the last major version of D4T? Oh, I'm sorry, about the previous question, also Pain in the Butt asked something similar regarding to the break, taking a break. Okay, once again, to the other question, will 2.0 be the last major version of D4T by BerserkerNoir? I can't tell for sure. I really can't tell. It depends on what else can we add into the mod. If there's anything major that we can add, for example, a new DLC happens and there's new stuff to add, then probably we're gonna make another new version, big version. But in the meantime, I'm gonna treat 2.0 as if it was the final, in the sense that no plans for anything big at the moment. However, there's still gonna be a lot of patches for anything that we find on the way that is still broken after all the bug fixing that we did. But in the meantime, there's no plan for something huge. If something else huge happens in Doom 2016, then we might do a new version, a big version of D4T. Do you have any new ideas except developing D4T by Brina? No idea. Yeah, well, actually, we have quite a few things in mind. Finding the time to do them on the inspiration is going to be a little difficult, but yeah, for example, Michaelis has already worked on C Blood Plus, and I would really like to continue and work in that project and bring it bigger and better. There is quite a few ideas, just to name a few. Some StarCraft 2 stuff, Space Funeral, a really crazy game that is floating around that Michaelis also had a very interesting idea of doing. Like I mentioned, the Quake Champions, who knows, maybe we could even bring some Overwatch into Doom. I have no idea. There's quite a few things that we could do. But like I mentioned, we can only really work in one big project at a time. So we'll see what happens. Question: what do you think about making your own game by Excidentia? I would love to make my own game. That's definitely something that I would enjoy to do, but it would have to be, of course, probably on GC Doom 3.0, the version that you can actually sell. And the problem with that is that I would have to find or make completely new resources, and that's where I suck. I can gather stuff, I can prepare, I can organize a lot of stuff, but creating sprites and everything, that's where I fail. However, without spoiling, not spoiling because there's nothing really planned, but I was in talks of actually participating in a game, in a very unique game, you know. But I can't really go into details. There's not much to talk about there. But yeah, creating my own game, that would be lovely. That would be lovely. What could it look like? What genre and so on? Genre. Well, for sure, it would be something fast-paced. I love fast-paced games, as you can tell. I love to be running around and shooting where good aiming, good twitch aiming, or whatever it is, or good tracking, or whatever you have, is gonna pay off. I don't like slow games. I do like certain games that are slow, of course, but for first-person shooters, which is what I would like to do, it would have to be fast, really freaking fast, and running around, killing and going insane. Okay, favorite video game track by Jckfrbn. Okay, this one, Michael is actually gave me this answer. Decent 2 main menu theme as the best MIDI song ever made. Of Doom 2016 soundtrack, Alpha main menu, an electronic remix of E1M1 is really good and surprisingly not in the official OST released. Oh yeah, I remember that. I think Mick Gordon actually addressed that point of not including some music in the OST, but oh well. In regards to me, I don't really know too much about game music, but I can tell you one of the only soundtracks that I have ever gotten. It's from this game from Super Nintendo called Thunder Spirits, which is a remake of, what was it called? Mega. I have no idea. It's another game for Saturn, something. I don't know. I don't remember. But in Super Nintendo, it's called Thunder Spirits, and the music of that game I freaking love it. I freaking love it so much that I extracted the music from the game and I have the MP3s to my listening pleasure. From Doom 2016, Damnation. I love that freaking song. That's why I chose it as the main theme for the title map in D4T. Why I chose it for this last trailer. I just love that song. Yeah, definitely. Is there a helmet animation in the beginning? Arian asks. No, there's no. Oh, for anybody that doesn't know what that is, I don't know. Some of the mods had this animation, like when you put on the helmet as the Doom Marine, you put on the helmet like it happens in Doom 2016. It looks really cool. Do we have that? No, we don't. Will we add it? No, we won't. Again, it's one of those things that are very unique to other mods, other Doom 2016 mods, and while it's really cool, it's not something that I want to steal or borrow into this mod, because it's just something I feel is the personality of that other mod. I don't want to, you know, invade other people's turfs to call it somehow. The last questions: are you gonna visit Russia by Excidentia? By the way, Excidentia, for people that don't know, it's our alpha tester. This is long before we did any beta testing. We had an alpha tester, and that's Excidentia. The answer is: will I visit Russia? I want to. I do want to. Will I be able to? Not anytime soon. Depending on how some of my plans go on in the near future, it's if I will have the possibility of going. But if I go, I'll be sure to let you know. Okay, those were the questions that I got for this Q&A. This is a ridiculously long video. It's like 34 minutes long. But anyway, if you were watching all this stuff, well, I added some D4T 2.0 footage on the background so that you can enjoy and you can try to find the stuff that I didn't show in the trailers, because believe me, there's a lot of stuff that we added. There's small stuff, big stuff. I could not include everything in the trailer. The trailer, I had a very specific idea of what I wanted on the trailer, and that's what I did. But there's a lot of stuff that I did not advertise, and that you might see some of it on the footage in the background. So, okay, I hope you had fun listening to all this nonsense. And like I said, this mod is going to be released just right now is the 10th. It's going to be released on the 13th, so that means just 2 days and some before it's released. Again, the mod is released in Central Standard Time, in the sense that it's going to be released at some point in the 13th. It's not going to be released at midnight, it's not going to be released at noon. There's no specific time when it's going to be released. It's going to be released when I feel it's ready to be released, because there's always stuff that I have to be adjusting at the last minute, whether it's some text here or some stuff over there, I don't know. It will be released on the 13th, that much I can guarantee. Remember, on the 13th CST in Central Standard Time. So don't tell me that. In Australia it's already the 13th. But yeah, over here it's still the 12th, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. Thanks to everybody for the questions. I hope I answered or I solved the doubts that you have. And in the meantime, let me know if you have any further questions. Maybe I can answer some stuff on the comments on this YouTube video. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in whatever I record next. Until then, later.